Hi everyone. Hope everyone's all right out there. Even though I've got nobody in the chat at the moment, but hopefully we'll get someone soon because I've got an exciting guest on here today. A young man called Conor, Arsenal fan, and he's so creative as well. He's designed all my stuff on here, a lot of my stuff, the logo and things like that. But we'll get into all that obviously when he comes on in a little while. I've got some exciting news though, some transfer news regarding Brentford, regarding Diallo. RC, all right, mate. I'll bring Conor on I'll bring you on in a minute, mate. Right? I'm just doing this bit. So obviously regarding Diallo. Habib Diallo, he's in advanced talks with us. It don't actually say the price, how much it'll be or anything. It just says advanced talks. And for the Senegalese international Strasbourg striker, he's 28, so he's a pretty good age and got a lot of experience. And he's scored quite a few goals for Strasbourg, in fact. So 53 Ligue 1 goals in 150 appearances. So that sounds great. Hopefully something will happen now and we'll definitely get him. I hope so. Before the start of the season would be great. So I'll try and bring my guest on now because he's in the back here in the green room. So hi Conor, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, man. I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, cool, mate. Cool. Not too bad. Nobody in the chat though at the moment, mate. So I'm sort of talking to no one at the moment.
No worries.
I've got Jam in here. Jam's just turned up. I'll just read this, mate, and I'll comment. Jamino, Mr. B, hello, yeah. Why aren't you saying hello to my guest? Come on. He's in here now. Come on. Wait, big up this guy. Come on. He's brilliant, Done all my stuff, haven't you, mate? All the logo and everything in here. The intro and outro. Yeah. Fantastic, man. So here we go. He is saying hello to you there, Conor.
Big up Jam. He knows all about it. Jam's a legend, mate. Big up to Jamino, mate. He's a legend.
Yeah, man. It's great to have you on, by the way, because obviously, I haven't really had anyone else on since the first show. I had Jez and everyone on to begin with, but who else did I have on? Dell and all that. So, but nobody since. So it's great, great to get somebody else on here for a change. So
anytime, mate. Anytime.
Cool. Yeah. How come you haven't got your own channel yet, man? Why aren't you doing nothing?
Do you know what? It's I had a channel before about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and I was posting content. I was doing like Arsenal stuff and all that, but then life got in the way. I got my first job, and I just haven't had time. And I now do my editing stuff on the side for people like yourself. And I just don't have the time, really, and I'm just trying to live my life. I'm only 19. I'm going to be 20.
Oh, shit, man. Don't depress us,
Yeah.
Only 19.
Yeah.
I remember when I was that age, I tell you, I remember that many years back. But I'll give you a bit of advice, mate. Try and do everything you can and just while you can, mate, at that age,
Yeah.
Don't think too far ahead, because it goes so quick,
I know, yeah.
And before you know it, you're fucking near my age, mate. It's not great, I'm reaching a milestone age next year, and I'm not going to say at the moment, but I don't really want to go into it. But
I'm going to be. I'm 20 on Saturday, so I'm trying to just sort of live my life at the moment, and maybe before, I'm enjoying myself, going regularly on I'm sort of like a member of TJ's channel now. I'm a regular, and he likes to. He sort of likes to call me like it, not just TJ Warren TV. You got me and Dow, like we're like the main guys on there normally. So I'm part of that, So I like to put my work and effort into that. And I like to try and join other people's streams now and then. It's a bit difficult because of my schedule. Like I said to you, I don't have much time today because I've got loads of stuff going on at the moment. But yeah, listen. I'm happy as it is, going on other people's channels and seeing all the people in the chat, and everything. Maybe in the future, maybe we'll see a channel. We'll wait and see. Maybe not this season, but. I'm enjoying it as it is at the moment, and
cool. Mate, I hope you do. It really take off when you start one up, mate.
I appreciate that.
Brilliant,
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll see. We'll wait and see because people have been asking. I've been like, it's so difficult because I know it takes a lot of work live streaming. Like everyone who does it that I know, I don't take it easy. I know it's a difficult thing to do. Finding not just the time but the effort to do regular streams and stuff. It's a lot of effort, and I give my hats off to anyone who does it. It's just me finding the time to do it. Because I wasn't doing streams. I was just recording videos and posting them up, so I didn't have to go live. But we'll see, maybe, because I know a lot more people now. I think I only had was 100 and something subscribers. I can't remember before. So maybe because I know a lot more people now, they'll support me. But we'll see. We'll wait and see.
I only had 100, mate. I'd love all that because I ain't got that yet.
It took a long time to get to them 100, man.
Man.
Sometimes people make it look so easy, but it's difficult. It's hard work. But yeah, and big up to
it sure is, mate. Yeah. I know what it's like. I mean, I've sort of neglected this a bit, man. Because I've been obviously other things got in the way. Like last month and whatever, and I've also moved home as well, so that's got in the way. So I know it's a bit of an excuse, but I do take this seriously. Everyone. So I do want this to take off, and I think it was for a little while anyway. But I just sort of, I didn't forget about it. But
exactly.
Just other things happened. As you said.
That's the thing, Steve. Like you see, when you began, you sort of rise, and then that's the annoying thing with social media. You've got to keep posting content. I know, I've done it myself. Once you stop posting content for even a week, the views just go down, and there's nothing comes up. People will know, and that's the annoying thing. You just got to be consistent, and as hard as it is, as I know myself, that's the thing. You just got to be consistent with it at the end of the day. And you'll see once you do more regular streams. I think if I'm going to be honest, it's a bit more difficult because say if you were starting up a Barcelona or an Arsenal or a Chelsea channel, you may get a lot more views, and it's just from the fact of the clubs are just bigger. But people like me who are actually from the local area, like Brentford's my local team, I would say,
why are you supporting them then? You should be supporting them, mate.
Family is also so it's weird. So my whole family is half of them is London, and they've all been London, and so they've obviously been closer up north. So my part of my family who are mainly Arsenal, they're up in North London, so that's where it comes from. And I've just been sat in Brentford the whole time. So, and I've been to a couple of games. It's all good. But yeah, as I was saying, it's going to, the thing I respect you for is it's going to be a bit difficult to start up a channel where the fan base isn't as big as Arsenal, which isn't a bad thing. It's just unfortunately the truth. But the fact you're doing it, mate, and the fact you're still trying to go at it, I can not do much but respect you, honestly. And
cheers, mate.
No
means a lot, right?
No worries at all. All you got to do is just keep pushing, and you got it, 100%.
Yeah, thanks, man. By the way, before we go into this, so how did you actually get into supporting Arsenal? Have you always wanted to support them, or you thought about another team?
Yeah, good question. So I've done a show with Jez where I sort of explained most of it, and it was more of a thing of when I was younger, I wasn't much into football. My dad had the season ticket for Arsenal. He used to go all the time. His love for Arsenal is still there, but he's not as passionate, I think, as he used to be. I'm probably a bit more passionate for Arsenal now, but his sort of dipped off a bit. He's more into the rugby and stuff like that. He's Irish. He's Irish, so he loves his rugby and all this and all that kind of stuff. So
egg chaser.
Yeah. And I started supporting Arsenal. It was more of a thing when I got into school, high school, and everyone was talking about football, and I was like, I like Arsenal. I watch Arsenal now and then with my dad, and when he goes to games and stuff. And I was like, do you know what? It's now a thing now. Let me just start going into them properly. And you're in school. Everyone brings out the match attacks cards of the different players, and
I remember all that.
Yeah, they're on the video games. The stickers and all that. And I think I want to get
stickers.
Yeah.
And then stickers. I remember all that. Yeah.
And I used to love it, and that's how I got into it. And then all of a sudden, I was really into it. I mean, I first started properly getting into football. I think it was the 2008 World Cup. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one where they were in South Africa. It was that 2000. I can't remember. I don't know if it might have been longer than that. That's when I first started collecting all the stuff, and then and then obviously my dad was an Arsenal fan, so then I started getting more interested in Arsenal. I've even got. I should really get it. It would be a lot. I should bring it on the show. I've got It was the purple shirt. I think it was the 04-05 season of Arsenal, and it has my name on the back with a number 2. And it's so small because I used to wear it when I was like 3 years old. So I've always had Arsenal in my bloods, and my granddad supports them. My uncle has a season ticket currently. He goes to all the games. I try to nab his ticket now and then because it is virtually impossible to go to an Arsenal game nowadays. So and that's it. And I've loved them ever since, and I'll never stop loving them. And Brentford's also, talking to Brentford, they've also got a close spot in my heart. I've got a really good mate. He supported Brentford since he was like 4 or 5. He was born in this area.
Yeah, so he's got good sense there, and good sense.
He's been there through all the highs and lows, and that's what I got respect for fans of teams like Brentford. You started from the bottom, and now look at you. You're in the Premier League. No one would have probably written you off 5 years ago, 10 years ago to even be near the Premier League, and here you are. You've got a great manager, a great team, a fantastic stadium. I've already been to it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. The facilities are lovely. Everything. The people are lovely. The workers. The crowd's amazing. When I went to Man U last season, the 4-0, and that was fantastic. And I was right in front of the United goal, so all the goals were coming in on my side, and you could actually see me very vaguely. You could see me on the Sky Sports highlights at the end when they all came out celebrating when the silver.
Oh, you were on telly.
Yeah. Oh, literally for a split second, Steve, but yeah, you love it. I absolutely love it. I've been trying to see if I can get myself to Tottenham start of the season on the 13th.
Oh, yeah, you said about that. Are you getting it? You getting the ticket or not?
I haven't got it yet, but we'll see. It's 50-50 at the moment. I'll wait and see. But yeah, listen, I love football, and I can see when we got transfer windows open, there's no football in July and June. It's so boring. And that's why I loved the Community Shield the other day, because it was so good to have football back, and I love it. And it's such a big part of my life and everything.
So what did you make of that, Conor? Did you think that's a good thing to win the Community Shield? Would you say it's not a proper trophy, or?
Do you know what? I do like to think of it as the fact it is more of like an English Super Cup. It is because, well, it should be when you've got the FA Cup winners with the Premier League winners, but obviously City won everything. I don't like the excuse of we got chucked into it and we didn't deserve to win it, because it wasn't our fault that Man City were too good and won everything. Like, we didn't ask to get put in the Community Shield, So, but I look at it as a factor of it's a game and you've got to respect it. And you've got to look at it in hindsight. They are the Premier League. They're the treble winners. They are currently the best team in Europe and in England. So
we beat twice, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, you did. You we can't. So respect to you, man. And so I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? The way I looked at it, and I said it on multiple streams like TJ and other people, I looked at that game and said, I don't really care about the trophy. I just care about beating Manchester City, because they've been on us for so long. We haven't beaten them since 2020 in the FA Cup. We haven't beaten them in the league. I can't even remember the last time we beat them in the league. I actually remember going to the FA Cup semi-final in 2017, 16, when we beat them 2-1 in the FA Cup semi-final, and I love that. That was just when they were about to get into their proper Man City big going for it phase. I mean, I know they were going for it even before that, but like, this was the proper, really going for it, treble winners. And so I looked at it and I thought, I want to go in there and beat them. I want to outplay them. And this is sort of a practice round before. It's like when you're watching the F1, they're doing the practice rounds around that, around the laps, around the course. That's how I wanted to look at it. And we didn't win. If it was the league, we would have drew. We would have taken a point. But, as much as you want to look at it and say, but we still beat them on penalties. Yeah, we did. I was proud of the team. I felt like we went toe-to-toe, because I thought we'd be conceding 3 goals that day. I said 3-1 to Man City in my prediction. And we went toe-to-toe.
I had them to win, by the way.
I think everyone did, in honesty, Steve. I thought, they're too good. But there's all these excuses about, they didn't even care. They didn't want to go for it. Liverpool beat them last season. They lost it the season before that. They don't really care. And I'm like, well, that's not an excuse, is it? At the end of the day, you could have gone out there and smashed us 5-0 if you really wanted to. And you didn't. It was clear and obvious that you were still trying and you couldn't get past us. So I got respect to Arsenal for that. But I wanted to beat them. Not draw, because we did draw, realistically. We drew with them. If it was the league, we would have drew with them. I want to beat them.
Yeah.
But the performance that Arsenal gave for I'd say most of that second half, I was happy to an extent. I thought the first half was very slow. And when we got into the second half, I thought, okay, right, we're making a couple more chances here. I just now hope that this, you could say, win goes on into the league, and when we play them again, we now go full throttle and we beat them. That's all I want. But to answer your question, I know I'm going off on a bit here. The Community Shield, you're in it anyway. Whether you win the FA Cup or not, you're in the competition. If Brentford win the FA Cup, they're in it. You can't just say, "Oh no, I don't want to be in it." And if you're in it, and it is a trophy, whatever you want to call it, if you think it's a trophy, you think it's not a trophy, it is classed as a trophy in the FA, whatever they want to call it. All you can do is win the game, and that's what we've done. So that's all you got to think of it, really. I'm not getting overhyped. So we've won that. Now we're going to win the league, the Champions League, everything. We're going to do the quadruple. I took it as we won on penalties. We beat Man City. I celebrated for a bit, and we move on now. We move on to the real stuff, which is the Premier League. So yeah, that's what I think of it.
All right. So I mean, you can't. It's not going to be a bearing on your season at all, is it? Let's be honest. You won that. That means nothing, though, didn't it? Really?
Yeah. No. Exactly. Well, listen. Well, Liverpool won it last season, and they didn't win anything this going on.
Exactly.
So I don't like the thing of saying, "Oh, we've won that, so now we're going to instantly win the league." I don't like that mindset, because for all we know, Brentford could go ahead and win the league. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I like to think of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a dream, mate. Brentford winning it, but I fucking love it. I tell you, that'd be great.
What do you think? I'm interested to think. What do you think about? How do you think you're going to go for these first couple months about Ivan Toney? I know you're linked with a couple of strikers already.
Yeah.
If you don't bring anyone in, what do you think is going to happen? Do you reckon you'll succeed, or do you reckon it's going to go a bit downhill without Ivan Toney? What do you reckon?
Well, I think if we get this guy here, if he's supposed to be in advanced talks, Habib Diallo, from Strasbourg, I think we've got a better chance, because apparently he's supposed to be a lot like Toney. He's got a lot of his attributes of what he can do, and great hold-up playing, great passing, as well as finishing. So if we do get in, I think we've got a better chance of maybe at least getting, mid-table again, into that top 10. I'd love that, and because we were so close to Europe last season as well, I would have loved to go in Europe, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle without Toney. But I mean, we have got other players there. A lot of people forget. You got Mbomo and all that. Visser. De Silva and all that, De Souza, whatever, and Lewis Potter and all that, who I rate. I think he's coming on great, young guy, he was at Hull City, and we're giving him more match time now, because he didn't play hardly at all last season. So, and he's broke through because of obviously not having Toney and whatever. So he's got into the team now, and. I think he'd come on as well this season. So, some weak links there, as like Arsenal have. But we got Jan out and Royce left. I don't rate them at all.
Very underrated in my opinion, Jan out. I saw the other day that Onyeka signed a 5-year deal with you guys, 4 years with an.
I'm not sure about him either.
My mate was fuming. He doesn't like it. He calls him a sprint runner, a marathon sprint runner. That's all he does. He just runs. Pass the ball.
All he does is run fast, mate.
He's not the biggest fan of him. But Yano, in my opinion, he's very underlooked. I think just because he plays for Brentford, not a lot of people look into him. I think he's a very good CDM. Him and Norgard. Norgard, I think, is fantastic. There's a lot of players in Brentford's team that I think go underlooked. Just because they're at Brentford. There's this sort of that sort of idea that they're at Brentford, so they're not really that looked. Rico Henry, great player, great left back. I take him at Arsenal. I think Ethan Pinnock's really come through. I think when he was in the Championship, he was sort of here there, but now he's come in the Premier League. He's really made it into his own. The fact you brought Ben Mee in at 33 and he's doing the job.
What a signing, mate!
You make the signings. You mentioned Flecken looked a bit shaky. I was watching you guys in the summer.
Yeah, I'm not sure, babe.
Yeah, he's looking a bit shaky, so fingers crossed, because it doesn't look like that.
Now you're nicking our keeper. We got to make the ring now,
I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing with that, mate. 30 million.
Yeah, I bet,
Yeah, I think Brentford fans, I think there was a bit of a mixed reception at the end because obviously I think things gone a bit sour with Raya and Thomas Frank. I'm not too sure. But listen, he's been a great servant for your club if you're going to look at it realistically. Apart from that moment against Fulham in the playoff final during COVID, when he had that stinker, it was the free kick for Fulham, and he just sort of and it was the winning goal to pull them up.
I can't forget that one.
Yeah, you can't. But then again, you won it the season after with all the fans, so he's been a great servant for your club, but he's now Arsenal, so is what it is.
Well, he was at Wembley apparently. I didn't know that, but he was at Wembley on Sunday, so.
I didn't know that. Well, that's quite funny because when we, because a lot of Man United fans, they saw Timber at Wembley for the FA Cup final, and all these United fans are going, "Oh yeah, he's coming. He's coming to us." No, he's not. He's there with Arteta, mate. He's having a meeting with Arteta, and he's fantastic as well. He's looking very good. Timber.
Yeah, man, I'm impressed with him. I'm doing that joke lately that Timber is a solid signing.
Yeah. He's very good. He's very good, and I'm looking forward to how he
took him off, didn't he? Why did he take him off? I don't get that.
You think he's going to be man of the match, and he comes off, and then as soon as, and I do feel bad for Tierney because I felt like it was a bit like wrong place, wrong time. He comes on, and we instantly can see the goal on that side, and you could say he could have done better, but I personally think Tierney's confidence has been shot because of just the amount of the game time he's been given is just stupid. It's little to nothing, and he's now actually being linked with Real Sociedad. And honestly, I hope he takes the move because as much as I want him to stay, because I love Tierney, I think he's a fantastic left back.
Yeah, I do know.
He doesn't fit.
I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you not playing him? I don't get it.
I think it's just the matter of the fact he doesn't fit our system because Tierney, in my opinion, he's an old school left back. He is bouncing up and down the wing and he'll come back and defend. Because we're now playing in this inverted stuff, fit the system. And then Arteta's like, I'm not going to play you now because you're going to ruin my system. So it's a shame. And if Arteta doesn't win anything this season and ends up getting sacked and we sell Tierney beforehand, that's going to be the biggest mistake we're ever going to make because we'll need him if we get a new manager because he'll be the best left back. He could have been one of the best left backs in the league at one point if he had regular game time. But then Zinchenko came in and then everything changed. And I mean, the fact that he hasn't even handed in a transfer request, I think fair play to him. He's got some respect because I couldn't hold out like that. I'd be fuming. I'd be like, yo, get me out of this club now because you're not even giving me a single chance, So, yeah. But the fact we got in Timber, and I personally am already preferring him a bit to Zinchenko at left back because I think Zinchenko should be in midfield personally. I'm already preferring him. I am content now. I was really angry before the way Tierney was treated, but the fact that we've now got Timber who can play left back, right back, and centre back, I'm a bit more like, all right, Tierney, yeah, maybe, bro, it is time to go. As much as I don't want it to happen, I do think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe not this window, but maybe January.
He's quality though, Tierney. I mean, we'd take him at Brentford any day,
Yeah, 100%.
Any day long we'd have him,
Yeah, 100%.
Defender, man. Back,
Yeah, definitely. He's
quality.
Absolutely class.
The one we got, Henry, I rate him as well. I mean, he had a long injury spell out for ages, is the problem. Yeah, we missed him a lot, I think, last season and whatever. But I mean, he came back and he's been great. He's got speed, he's got pace.
Rapid.
And
rapid.
And I actually think he could even play for England one day.
I agree.
He's not good.
That's another thing, and that's another thing, Steve. Southgate doesn't look at these teams. He'll be there for the cameras at the games. He'll be there. Oh, here's Gareth Southgate having a look. But he will never in a million years choose any of those players from, say, your team, from the likes of Aston Villa. He'll never choose them. The only reason he chose Tony to come with him is because all the press was saying to bring him. That was it. The press were fuming. The sports press were fuming because you've got such a talented striker here who's better than some of the backups. I know they brought in Callum Wilson, who, in my opinion, I do prefer Ivan Toney to Callum Wilson. But some of the dross he was bringing in, and I'm thinking, why are you not bringing this guy in? And the only reason he brought him in was because of the press. And he didn't play him at all. There were moments where Harry Kane wasn't doing well, and then we could have brought on Ivan Toney. Even when Harry Kane was doing well, if he needed to come off, you bring on Ivan Toney. You didn't even bring him on a single minute. I don't think he played a single minute of the England campaign. So it is what it is. But that's unfortunately what Southgate's like, because there's so many quality players that that are English that play for these teams lower down the table that are quality, but I don't think he cares because he's got his favourites. He's got Maguire. He's got all these different players that shouldn't be there that are there. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. If I was Rico Henry, I'd go to whatever other nationality, whether it's Jamaica or wherever, Nigeria. Go for them because you'll get way more of a chance over there than you will for England, especially while Southgate's in charge, because you won't get nothing out of him. Unless you're Harry Maguire or just suck up to him, you're not getting in that England team. You ain't touching it at all.
Yeah. As Jorginho says here, Gareth Southgate is clueless. Definitely, mate. We all know that,
Not a fan of him whatsoever at all. He should have gone after we lost to Italy in the penalty. That's when he should have left.
Yeah, it's like having Arteta manage England, isn't it? Almost sometimes, I mean, sorry, man. He is a rookie, though, isn't he? Let's be honest.
100%. I mean, we all know that when he came in and took the job, we were like, okay, right, this is a bit of a weird one. We know he's ex-Arsenal. I mean, he wasn't really a legend of Arsenal. Let's get that straight. He was captain. No,
more Everton, really.
He wasn't a legend, that's for sure. When he came in, I was like, right, he's worked with Pep. I'm going to take that because you're learning off one of the best managers in the Premier League. You've won a Premier League title under him as his secondary. Yeah. Maybe this guy can have a shot. And I'm always one for giving anyone a chance. I hate ridiculing people as soon as they step into a football, in any situation, not even just football, anything. I don't agree with just ridiculing as soon as someone steps in the room. When Mikel Arteta came, I thought, right, let's see how he does. When he won the FA Cup, I was very proud. I thought, wow, he's just come in and he's done that. And yes, people will say it was Unai Emery's team. It wasn't Mikel Arteta's team. And I can understand that. And I can agree with it still. It was mainly Unai. It wasn't Arteta's players. And if we're going to look at it, the job was already half done, really, because we were already progressed half into the FA Cup. But then again, he did beat Man City and he beat Chelsea to win that cup. So you got to give respect. But then, went down the line, we bottled all the Europa Leagues, all the FA Cups. We just didn't care about the League Cups. And then it comes to a point where it's now been 3 years without a trophy. Well, if you want to count the two Community Shields, which I don't, I'm going to count the FA Cup as our only trophy. It's been too long for Arsenal Football Club. It is. I mean, you can say, under Arsene Wenger, especially in the latter years, there wasn't that. There was the odd FA Cup. There was never huge success. But that's the thing. We're now at a point where we're Arsenal Football Club. We deserve success every year. Well, any club deserves success. But we've been in a point where it's always been a process. We're now waiting. Now it's the time to act. You've got to go and get a trophy. And in my opinion, this is his last season. But I wouldn't be surprised that if we end up at the end of the season winning nothing and maybe getting top 4, but because we won the Community Shield, he stays. That I wouldn't be surprised. But if I was him, if I was Edu, not even Edu, if I was the board of Arsenal, I'd say, Mikel, we've given you 700 million. You brought in some very good assets to the team. But if you don't bring any silverware this season, mate, you're going to have to go because you're clearly not good enough. And I hope that he knows that, because I saw the press interview the other day that after the season ended last season, he actually said to himself, am I the man for the job? And he said to himself, yes, which I can respect, because at least he knows he actually gives a shit and he just doesn't want to give the money. So I got to respect that. But he's got to know in himself, I've been here for 4 years now. I've spent all this money. It might be even more coming up now. I think it's now going up to 700 million because of Raya. It may be even more at the end of the window. Maybe more in January. Maybe go up to 800, 750 million. I hope he knows in himself that he's spent that much and he's had these many seasons that he needs to know, right, it's either this or I'm gone. And I hope that's the mentality he's got, because we've got to win something this season, 100%. I'll take a League Cup, anything. And that's not me being drastic and saying, oh, da-da-da-da-da. A League Cup is a trophy. I hate the idea of when some people came out and said it's not a trophy. I think that's a disgrace. It is a trophy. A trophy is a trophy, however way you win it. Teams that are in the Championship would kill for a Carabao Cup, anything like that. So you got to respect it. It is a trophy. So I'll take anything, but we need silverware at this club. It's fact. And it's about time we do so. So I hope he realises that this season's the season. And I respect the assets we've brought in and the players. I wish we could have brought in a striker, but it doesn't. I don't think we'll spend that much money. I mean, whether we sell Balogun and then use that money for Balogun to get a striker, we could. But
you can give us Balogun if you want. We'll take him happily, you know.
I want to keep him. I don't know why we have the situation where we have this asset in our team, this great striker, young striker, this great player, and then we've got Eddie Nketiah, and Arteta's saying, I want Nketiah over Balogun. Balogun's been completely ruled out the team. I mean, in the Community Shield the other day, I was seeing players that weren't even in the squad that were there. You know, Nuno Tavares was there. Jorginho was there. He wasn't in the squad. El Neni, he was there. He wasn't in the squad. There were so many players that weren't in the squad that were there celebrating, but Balogun wasn't there. So I think it's another situation of where Arteta just completely ridiculed him because no one's been in the press conferences and asked, where is he? Because they can't. Because if they do, they'll get kicked out of the press conferences. So we're now in a predicament where I feel like Balogun's being so mistreated. It's untrue. I believe he's a hairline kid. I think he came from the academy. You know, this boy's Arsenal. He's Arsenal through and through. And we're treating him like dirt. And this is a guy that nearly rivaled Messi and Mbappe's goal scoring record last season. And people can say, oh, it's Ligue 1. It's a farmers league. You've still got to do a lot in that very mediocre Reims team that finished 9th or maybe 10th. And I think it was 9th. You've got to do a lot to rack up 22 goals to do that. And we're sitting here thinking, nah, Nketiah's all right. He scored 29 goals and 115 appearances.
Yeah.
Need us say more. What's
that about? I don't get it with Nketiah. Some people are saying that they're trying to farm him off on us. I thought, fuck off. Oh, we don't want him either, you know?
I'd rather take a Fredo over Nketiah, Steve.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, man. What is that about? You know, you got a better striker than him there in Balogun, and he don't want to know. He's just discarding him, you know?
Yeah.
Potential there. He's got massive potential, Balogun, and he's already produced it. Exactly. And he's done it for America as well. He scored for them, hasn't he, as well? So,
and I mean, listen, I know for a fact that he's linked with Inter Milan. Inter Milan wanted him. Monaco wanted him. We've just declined an offer from there. That's what I don't get. If we don't want this guy, why are we declining every single offer that's coming in for him? It genuinely makes no sense. I don't understand. It genuinely makes no sense. And the fact that we're sat here when we've got Nketiah wearing the armband. And listen, I do go off on Nketiah a lot because he shouldn't be at Arsenal. And it's no disrespect to the person in Nketiah because Nketiah is a nice guy. I mean, he does press everything. He's always a nice guy. He's always a nice guy to be around. But I don't look at that. I look at the footballing ability. And it's very clear that he's not good enough. He's not worth 100K a week. He's not worth wearing that number 14 Thierry Henry shirt on his back. I mean, you can even say Aubameyang. Aubameyang was carrying this club for 2 seasons practically, and he wore the number 14. And then you're going to hand it down to Eddie Nketiah. It just doesn't make sense to me. I respect Nketiah. He came up through Haaland. He's an Arsenal boy. But surely you know in yourself you're not good enough for Arsenal because he's not.
That's right.
And
how many chances did he had? He's had loads of chances and he ain't proved himself.
And here he is still chilling about earning 100K a week, and it's just crazy. And we've got this player.
Easy fucking money.
It's such a good... Who we haven't even given a shot, by the way, which seems to be a regular occurrence at Arsenal. We have these players, but we don't want to seem to give them a shot. We just keep them on the bench and let them rot. We had him, and to be fair, when Balogun did come through last season into the first team, he played a couple of Europa League games. I think he got 1 or 2 goals, but he wasn't fantastic. But he was coming off the bench. And I even said to myself, right, he needs to go out on loan. He does. He went out on loan and bagged 20-plus goals. Surely you then come back to that club and say, yo, right, you're fighting for that striker position. I want that team. Not, I want this guy who scored 5 goals last season in my team. Even though you scored 20-plus more, I still want the other guy. Like, it genuinely doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I don't know what's going on with it, Steve, honestly. And yeah, like I was going to say, Jaminho, we're going to look at this now. If we sell him, we're going to look at this in a couple of years' time and now say, we shouldn't have sold him because it'll be another Serge Gnabry, like Jaminho said, it'll be another Daniel Marlon, a Benacer, even René Adelaide has gone and killed it in Lyon. He's been a good player. We've had so many players who have been so good under Arsenal, we've had so many players at Arsenal who have then left because we've ridiculed them and gone on to be stars. And this is exactly what Florian Balogun's going to be. And I just feel sorry for him. And I wish that I hope he sees what us Arsenal fans are saying, because we're all in agreement that we want him to be here and we don't want Nketiah here. I think most Arsenal fans, apart from a couple of Muppets, are saying this. And I hope he sees it. I hope he does see it, because at least he knows that we're talking sense and Arteta isn't. Because the way it looks at the moment, Arteta don't want him. So unless he makes it clear that he wants him, I'm going to be against that opinion until he leaves, unfortunately. But
yeah. The thing is, Arteta's stubborn, mate. That's the problem, isn't it? And he just got his ideas, and he just wants to play who he wants to play, and that's the thing, isn't it? And that could ultimately be why you fail. Again, this season.
Well, it's been many a time, Steve. When we've been like the likes of the Carabao Cup, we've thrown out these third choice players and just not cared. We've come up against Premier League sides in these competitions, and he's just been like, "Nah, it's all right, don't want it." If you're a club, any club, you should be going for every single trophy possible. Doesn't matter who you've got in your team. You should be going for every single. And don't get me wrong, these are professional football players. As much as you can rotate teams, I understand that. But when you're throwing out your third choice goalkeeper, who, let's be real, goalkeepers are probably the least they are the least active on a football pitch out of all the players. It's true. Why are you putting in a third choice goalkeeper against Brighton, who are putting out their main team? I just think it's a disgrace. And the way he treats these competitions are a disgrace. I want to see him challenging for every single cup this season. He has to. Look, I'd take the double, the cup double. If he'd done the cup double, I would be more than happy with Arteta this season. More than happy, because he's gone ahead and won silverware, and he's actually cared about it. The likes of Brentford, you guys went ahead and went to the semi-final a couple of seasons ago. To the Carabao Cup. So, teams like you care, Newcastle care, United care. A lot of people want to banter United. They've still won a trophy. It's still a trophy at the end of the day, and I want us to compete for every single trophy. And I hope that Arteta has learned to not be as stubborn. And if he has, and he does the same thing again and again, because I like to give people a bit of hope now and then. But if I'm going to see in the first couple cup games that he don't care, he's not going to change. And sometimes you can't change people. It's impossible. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Before we go any further with this, everyone please smash the likes and sub if you're new. Because obviously we've only actually got 2 people in. I don't know why. Come on, we've got a great guest in here. We've got Conor. Yeah. Top man, he's great. Come on, where is everyone,
Appreciate it.
And if you've got any questions for him, please put them in the live chat here in the comments, please. Because he's going to bounce soon about, was it 7:15?
Yeah. I'll call you 5-10 minutes more. I'm all right for time, but yeah, probably about then.
Yeah, cool, mate. Yeah, if you want to stay a bit longer, you're welcome, mate. Yeah, definitely. But anyone has got any questions for him, please put it in there. That'd be great. Thank you. So anyway, what are your hopes for this season then, Conor? Where do you think you're going to end up? Do you think you can actually win the Prem?
Good question. if I'm going to be honest, especially from last season, a lot of people can say, a lot of people who, in my opinion, know a lot more about Arsenal than me, which I can always respect. I've been saying a lot of the times I'm expecting us to challenge again this season, and I want us to challenge. And because I said to myself, right, looking at last season, we look at the faults that really caused us to really go downhill. And if I look at it realistically, there was little moments that caused us, little moments like Granit Xhaka against Liverpool, all these different things, defensive mistakes. We've made some changes, i.e. Declan Rice coming in for Granit Xhaka, which I think is a big upgrade, and he'll bring a lot more, I like to say, composure into the midfield. I know Jamino won't agree with me there, but it is what it is.
You never will agree with that. No.
maybe unless we lift the Premier League with him, then maybe. But yeah, listen. Yeah. But then there's the assets of Timber coming in. I'm happy with that. It's brought a bit more defensive acumen in and a bit more depth into the team as well. Because
mate, carry on.
Yeah, and I like to think as well when you've got a player like that who can play left, centre, and right, I think is a very good player, and I think can offer a lot of assets to the team. And obviously, we brought in Kai Havertz as well, who I personally want to prove himself in this Arsenal team. If he's not going to prove himself, if he's not going to put in the work, I'm sorry, you've got to go. But I want to see him put in some work and some effort. But the problem this season is going to lie down to not having a striker. And as much as the team, like Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard, they bagged 10+ goals each last season, which helped us massively while Jesus was out. as much as I love that, and them getting the goals and assists, which I think is fantastic because we need that in a team. You can't just rely on one person. We still need this 20-plus goal a season striker to get us over the line. And I think if we had the likes of Ivan Toney, an Ollie Watkins, a Vlahovic, a Jonathan David, I think we would have done it. And I think we could do it this season if we had those players in our team. But I just don't see it. But what I want to see from Arsenal this season is a trophy, whether that's a single or a double in the League Cups or the Premier League. I want to see us competing again in the Premier League this season because we have no excuse. We've made upgrades. The only thing we can do is go again. You know, I look at the Liverpool season. Even though they did win the Champions League the first season, they did miss out on the league that season to Man City. They went ahead and said, you know what? No, we're doing this again. We're going to do it again. That's the mindset I want us to have. If they can do it, anyone can do it. Any team can do it. As long as you've got the mindset and know what you want to go for, you can achieve anything. That's how I like to think of it, even in life. When you really put your head to something, you can go ahead and achieve it. And that's what I want Arsenal to do. If you know that you can go do it in yourself, you can go ahead and do it. And that's all I want to see from the team. I want to see us performing again, not making rookie mistakes. And we've got so many players in this team that know what to do. They've experienced it last season. And I do think the pain of last season, I hope will fuel them up to really go for it again this season. Champions League, as much as I want to be positive about it, I don't think it's going to be pretty. As much as a lot of Arsenal fans are saying, oh, we love it, can't wait to spend the Wednesday, Tuesday nights. I'm happy with it. Don't get me wrong. I want to be in the Champions League. But I don't think we're going to do as great as people think we're going to do. But Arsenal may surprise me. All I want this season, to ask your question, Steve, I want the challenge for the league again. I want nothing more than that. And we need silverware, wherever it's coming from. And not the Community Shield, whether it's the Premier League, Champions League, League Cup, or FA Cup. One of those trophies or more, that is what Arsenal need to be doing this season. And I can't ask for any minimum. It's got to be that. No, but we got Champions League. None of that. If you think that, then I'm sorry. Your mind's in another place. I don't think you know the Arsenal way, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you can't achieve then, Conor, he's at the door, mate, surely, you know?
Exactly. So that's my expectations, and I want us to really go for it. You've got to. Not after the way it ended last season. You can't just say, right, fluff it. We'll just go for it. You've got to think, right, they've done that to us. Well, we've done actually not even them. We've done it to ourselves. We can't mess up again. We've got to go for it. And that's exactly how I want our mindset to be coming into this season.
I mean, after spending all that money, mate, you know, how much is it actually he spent in this transfer window?
I want to say it's now up to 230 because we just bought Raya. So 230
million. Right, yeah.
A lot of money. Brentford would kill for that. Yeah. That's what I say. Like a lot of people who don't understand how much money we've spent. Teams like Brentford would kill for that. Teams like Everton, like all these teams below in the league tables would kill for this type of money. And I don't think people wrap their heads around how much money we've actually spent and how much you've got to understand what. And respect to the board, respect to the Cronkies for putting this money down. I mean, they've done it in seasons before, we know that. But they're really trusting this guy. You can tell they're trusting him because they're giving him this amount of money. 200 million isn't something you just put out your back pocket if you're rich and just say, here you go. That's not how it works. This is a lot of money they've put on the table for this guy to trust them to bring success. And if we're going to be real, money back to them because us winning silverware is giving them back the money. If we're going to be, it's true. So I don't think the Cronk, as much as I do dislike and disagree with what the Cronkies have done before, they're not idiots. They know if we're giving you our money, our assets, and you're not providing, you've got to go. And I hope Arteta knows that. And but we'll wait and see. Well,
the thing is, they're businessmen, aren't they, Conor? You know, at the end of the day, these Cronkies, I mean, everyone knocks them and they knock, they ain't done enough for Arsenal, they ain't putting enough money, they ain't got all these players that they need and stuff like that. But, it's about business for them, isn't it? And they want to get as much out of the club as they can, and they have given Arteta a load of money, and he hasn't always spent it wisely, has he? Let's be honest. So,
of course.
I mean, look at Havertz. I mean, what is there about this guy? I don't get it, man. Why bother getting him?
Yeah, I think personally, there's a player there. I do think there's a player there. It's just the fact of unlocking it, and I've said multiple times, if he doesn't prove that this season, he's got to go because you've been in the Premier. It's not like he's just come from Germany. It's like, all right, it's a young kid. Let's give him some time. He's been at Chelsea for 3 years. You know, he is really riding off the back of that Champions League winning goal if we're going to be serious. And I completely agree. The money we spent isn't what he's worth. He's probably worth 30, maybe 35. I wouldn't lower him down any lower than that because I do have respect for players and I do think he is a talented player at times. Not all the time, but at times. And I do think he's definitely worth half what we paid for him, 100%. He's not worth 60. And he's not, in my opinion, meant to be the highest earned player in the Premier League. But all I ask from him is all I can do is trust Arteta in what he's bringing in. Because if he can see something that I can't, then maybe he knows something more than me. I don't know. But we'll wait and see. I mean, I don't think we should be playing him at striker. I think the team that we played the other day is going to be our team against Nottingham Forest. And if we play him at striker until Jesus comes back, which, by the way, doesn't make sense because that means Nketiah is on the bench and then we've got Balogun. Doesn't really make sense. But if we're playing him at striker, I don't think it's going to be good. But I think he's playing him at striker, Steve, because he doesn't know what to do with him. And he spent 60, 65 odd million on him. And you can't pay that amount of money and keep him on the bench. You can't. Yeah. So that's why I think he's going to pay him at striker and just hope for the best. But
he's not a striker, though, is he? Let's be honest. He's not. So what is his position? Does anyone really know?
I'd say he's because of what he played for Leverkusen in Germany. I think he's an attacking midfielder. I think that he creates. He's not a goal scorer. He creates chances, you know. And he's one thing that I do like about him. He's very tall. So if Ramsdale wants to, or Raya at this point wants to lob the ball over the pitch, if you've got someone like that in midfield, he's so tall. He's probably taller than most midfielders in the league. Anyway, I think he's about 6'2", 3". He's taller than a lot of midfielders in the league. He can just easily catch down and win it. And then create the chance in the midfield. But unfortunately, because we've now got an injured striker and not an actual 20-plus goal striker who we can actually rely on, it's now stuffed us up. And I do actually think that if we play Havertz at striker, I feel quite sorry for him because he's going to get so much stick. I mean, I saw the stick that he got after the Community Shield game. I tried to back him up. I said, well, the first shot was a bit of a fluff. He couldn't really, the ball was behind him. Come on, he couldn't really do much of that. And then the second one was a great save from Ortega. But so many people have been giving him crap for it. And people can have their opinion. I completely agree with most people's opinions. And people can have their own opinion. I can have my own opinion. I said on teacher stream, I'll give him 10 games. 10 starting games for Arsenal. If he's not providing, then even if he's been playing at striker, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? You know, if you put there, you put there. You've got to perform. Especially being bought for that. If he doesn't perform, then my opinion will change. And but I completely agree with Jaminho. If I had my way, I'd have used that money plus the Balogun money if we're going to sell him. That's 110 million. Or if we do sell him for 50, to buy a striker, and then we put Zinchenko in midfield, which is where he should be. He should be in midfield, not a left back because he can't defend. He should be in midfielder because he wants to play in midfield. But Timber at left back or Tierney, if I was to play Tierney, and then use all that money to buy a striker. If I can see it, if Jaminho can see it, if all these Arsenal fans can see it, why can't Arteta, you know? But we'll listen, as I keep saying, we'll wait and see what happens, Steve. We'll wait and see what happens with this team, man. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you there, man. I hear you.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I've got to bounce anyway, Steve.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to put your thing in here, your details, mate? Your info of your channel and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So I do
a bit more.
So I do editing for a lot of people. I've done work for Steve, as he knows, Mr. B. I've done some work for people who are going to watch on playback as well, and loads of other Arsenal fans and football fans. So if you want to find me on social media, if you need any editing for your social medias or YouTube channels or anything like that, cmo.editing on Instagram. You can find me on there. And feel free to give me a follow and hit me up in DMs if you need any work done. And Steve, I appreciate you inviting me on. I really do hope. I really hope.
No worries. Anytime, Conor, mate. Anytime, you know.
Of course. And I really hope your channel takes off, mate. Seriously. And all I can say is to you, consistency. Because as I know, when I did it before, consistency is key. Because once it hits a certain amount of time and there's no post, it'll just go down. Then you'll feel crap about yourself. And then you'll think, no one's watching me. As soon as you keep posting and posting, not only will people watch on playback, they'll come back and watch your streams, bro. They'll come back and watch your streams. So keep up for the new season. Hopefully, if you do some Brentford streams after the games, they'll keep coming in. And fingers crossed you guys have a good season. Yeah, exactly. And fingers crossed you guys have a good season as well, because I do love Brentford. And you're a great club.
Cheers for that. If you want to put your thing in, your address and stuff in there, you want to put all that, mate, in there, you're welcome to, I'll
whack it in the chat for anyone who comes on and watches it. But yeah, and
I would have put it in myself, mate, but I didn't get around to it. Sorry.
No worries, man. No worries at all. Don't worry. No stress about that. And yeah, big up to you, man. And thank you very much for having me on. And I hope you have a good rest of your stream. And I'll catch you later. Yeah.
Cheers, bro. Cheers.
No worries.
You're welcome again, mate. Anytime,
I appreciate it, Steve. Right, catch you guys later. Yeah. See you later.
Well, enjoy your birthday, mate. Have a good birthday.
See you later. See you later.
Cheers, Conor. Take care, mate. Bye. Yeah, top man there. Top man. Great man, anything you want, do it for you, mate. Anywhere on your channels, guys. So, so please, check his channel out and, everything, man, because he's superb, Done some great work on my channel, and he will with everyone's, you look at anyone's like Jez or TJ's worked on their channels as well. So, it's an expert job, mate. Expert job, guys. So, please try and check his channels out and stuff, and and give him some love and like and subscribe to mine as well, of course. Be great. So I'll only carry on a little bit longer now because I know I've only really got one person in here, and that's Jaminio. Cheers, man. Cheers for staying in here. Yeah, that's great, mate. So if you have got, shame nobody could give him any questions because I thought really, he could give Conor a few more questions there, but in the comments, but unfortunately we didn't probably have enough in here. I think we've got 2 in here now, but as you see there, he's got his address there, Conor at the CMO there, that's cmo.editing. So please go to that and check that out. He does some fantastic work. So please go and see and talk to him and see what he can do for your channels or any other work he can do. So fantastic. Yeah, as I say, I'm going on a little bit longer here. I had obviously, that transfer news about Diallo, and I really hope that happens because it's in advanced talks, and I believe we've been talking to him for quite a while, to be honest. It's not exactly new. We have had some talks with him, and he's obviously his agent and representative. So, but it could actually. I mean, I heard originally the fee could be 15 mil, which is nothing. Well, these days, really, is it? So, if it is that, we got that money, and we'll definitely be able to get him. So I really hope that happens. That'd be amazing. So it's just a shame we haven't had too many more people in here because we really could have kicked this discussion off. But thanks for the people that did turn up. Thanks for that. We had Jaminio, of course, he's still in here, and the other people we had Dale in there, Oregon Gooner, earlier on. He was in the live chat. Yeah, mainly him, Jaminio. So it's great to have some people in here. Fantastic. And I hope you all enjoy this. And my guest, he was superb. And hopefully we'll try and get another discussion show. I can get somebody else on here. That'd be great at some stage, and I'm definitely going to be doing some watch-alongs. I may do the watch-along for the Spurs game because I don't look like I'm going to get a ticket, although Conor is, lucky bloke, but so he's getting it. So, but obviously I may do the watch-along for that. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. It's not confirmed, but. And I'm hopefully going to try and do a preview for that as well, being a pre-record. I'll do that video for that. So that hopefully be be on there on Friday. Hopefully around Thursday, Friday, be one of those 2 days. Not totally confirmed yet, but just check it out. Watch this space and look for the info I'll put out about it or any links. So that'd be fantastic. We've got 2 people in here. Jam, if you're one, mate, if you still you got any questions, mate, or any more comments before I bounce, mate, just leave them in there. Anything else you want to chat about? Anything that Conor said, that mentioned, you want to carry on with? Any other comments? Please feel free and leave it in here. And everyone, please smash the likes and sub. Well, there's nobody else in here, so. But if you are watching this on re-record, on playback, then, please sub if you can and smash the likes. That'd be fantastic. Leave comments, of course. I'm happy to take any comments you want to leave, as long as they're good ones, positive. They're the ones I like. So, but thanks all again. If I don't get any other comments, I'm going to go. I'm going to be bouncing. So, let's see, anything else? No, I think that's it then, guys. I'll call it a day there. And thanks again for that. And I hope people that come into the live chat enjoyed it. And my great guest, Conor, he's superb. And hopefully you can catch me for my next stream, which will, as I say, will be the Brentford Spurs preview. Either Thursday or Friday. It'll be one of those, probably Friday, because I may be busy Thursday, but we'll see what happens there. But I mean, it'll only be a pre-record anyway, so it's not live. So anyway, thanks.